Now, maybe it's time to start planning a staycation, Jan, because the government announced today that every Singaporean aged 18 and above this year will get $100 worth of tourism vouchers for local use.
The vouchers are part of the Singapore Rediscovers campaign designed to give our local tourism industry a much-needed boost. Multimedia journalist Chow Suen reports.
Air travel might not be possible now, but it doesn't mean that Singaporeans shouldn't set their sights on the skies and get some bird watching in while they're at it. Locations like the Jurong Bird Park are one of many places where Singaporeans can spend their Singapore Rediscover vouchers. So they will soon be receiving $100 worth through their SingPass accounts, which they can spend at staycations, local attractions, as well as local tours across the island.
We will roll out the Singapore Rediscover vouchers to encourage Singaporeans to visit the various attractions. Now, this is not a social assistance scheme. This is an economic scheme to help our tourist attractions preserve their capabilities that have been built up over the years while they consolidate the capacity in the interim. So with this $320 million worth of vouchers, we hope that Singaporeans will take the opportunity to support our local attractions, and then this will allow our various attractions like the bird park and the zoos to preserve the capabilities that they have built up. We have kept the scheme relatively simple. So, for example, they can use this to pay off the tickets or defer the cost of the tickets for coming in. But when they come in, they will spend on some of the F&Bs and other services that the attractions, the hotels or the tours provide.
That this will be a digital by default mechanism. So we expect that users would have to use SingPass as a means of identifying themselves as a Singaporean citizen who is eligible for the credits.
The scheme, which will last for 7 months from December 2020 to end June 2021, will include a $10 subsidy for up to 6 child or youth tickets for attractions and tours per voucher user.
This is actually targeted for the domestic market. So we start this in December because it coincides with the December school holidays. And then, but we don't need to everybody rush to use up this in December because we have given it a certain period of time for it to be done in December. And then of course you have the short March holiday next year and also the June holidays next year.
It might be early on a Wednesday morning, but already groups of domestic tourists can be spotted here at Jurong Bird Park. And soon, more eager bird watchers will be able to flock down as attractions continue to expand their capacity. Currently, tourist attractions are restricted to 25% of their total operating capacity, but they can apply to expand that to 50% come Friday. As for outdoor performances, they can also seek the Singapore Tourism Board's permission to scale up the capacity at their shows to 250 people, up from the 50 they're currently allowed to have. Chow Suen for the Straits Times.
Let's discuss this further with Dr. Huang King, a marketing lecturer at Nanyang Technological University. Dr. Huang, thank you so much for setting aside time to speak with us. Dr. Huang, how far will this initiative go in boosting the tourism sector?
Just to give you some numbers so that you can have a better perspective. So last year, our annual tourism receipt in Singapore is about $27 billion. And let's say if we assume that about half of the Singapore citizens use this $100 voucher. And if every one of us, when we use it, we try to spend another $100 from our own pocket. I think when we add up this number is about $150 million. So when you compare with last year annual tourism receipt, it's about maybe 1-2% of the previous year annual tourism receipt. So I think it helps a bit, but not like a lot to really boost the tourism industry. But on the other hand, I think the financial help is still helpful because it can boost the morale in the tourism industry. Because right now we know that some hotels or some industry players, they need to close down, and also they need to lay off some of their staff. And I think employees in this industry may feel very like worry about all this, the future of their career, the future of the industry. So I think this voucher or this scheme can really help the industry to boost their morale, so that they can feel that, okay, government is still supporting our industry, and let's hang in there and then wait for the better to come.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Doctor, still on the subject of support measures beyond these tourism credits, what kind of help does the tourism sector need from the government, and actually how can the sector help itself?
An idea just popped up in my mind is that because due to COVID-19, I think a lot of attractions or even hotels, they need to follow the social distancing rules. And how they can do it, maybe if government can help them to develop a centralized app that can monitor the real-time capacity of each of the attraction or hotels, then people can know better whether they should choose this attraction or to visit it that particular day. Then I think it would be helpful to the industry, because if each hotel or each attraction, they need to develop it by themselves, it may cost them a lot. So that is an idea that just popped up in my mind.
And Doctor, how can the sector help itself? How better can the tourism industry use this downtime, so to speak, to prepare for when things pick up again?
I think many industry players now may think about it in the direction of providing some discounts or some package deals to Singaporeans. And I agree that Singaporeans really like discount and deals, but then I would suggest maybe we can think in another direction, that is to really understand the current needs of our market. So for example, maybe we know that during the lockdown period, a lot of parents, they really need to stay at home every day, full day with their kids. And I heard from many of them, they feel very tired about that. So I think maybe staycation can try to cater to these needs. So for example, it's not just selling the family a room and breakfast, but try to incorporate some other things, like maybe you can have some teacher during the staycation to help the parents to take care of the kids, and also to teach them some new things. So during that time, then parents can really take rest and maybe give them some spa to enjoy the time during the staycation, rather than still need to take care of the kids. So that's something the industry can do if they can really understand better the current needs of the market. And on the other hand, I think during this downtime, I think it's good for the industry to think about how to incorporate some technologies into their business process. So for example, maybe try to think about the attractions. When someone go into the attractions, nowadays we know that we want to encourage more contactless interaction between the staff and the customers. So when customers, maybe they have questions during their visit of the theme park or attractions, they may want to ask some questions. And is it possible for maybe for the attractions to use messenger apps or some messaging tools, just like WhatsApp, so that when the customers visiting the attractions, they can just use maybe WhatsApp to ask the staff questions, rather than really need to have face-to-face interaction with the staff. So this is something that popped up in my mind that the industry can think about.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Wong.
Thank you.
We've been speaking to marketing lecturer at NTU, Dr. Huang King.